Sompon, and I'm the managing director of Sompon Social Service, and an institution to empower, to help, to support migrants in Germany, but also to work with diverse companies and the world at large. As something is going on at the moment, and it's really a challenge for us. It's a challenge because the social media is really exposing some of those stuffs. I want to talk today a little about racism, its effect on the oppressed, and we're going to be seeing some few things about the oppressors. Before I get to talking about oppressor and oppressed, I want us to understand that the oppressor could be white or could be black. That's why Mandela said it very well in those days when he came out of the prison, that the oppressor and the oppressed need liberty. Both of them are somehow sick. Now, I don't want to get into much detail about the sickness of the oppressor, but I want to talk to the oppressed. And you may be listening to me and you're thinking, what is the oppressed and all that? The oppressed is that one that really cannot exhibit their rights. The oppressed is that one who is marginalized. The oppressed is that one who has learned the language of the oppressor and still is not perfect in that language. The oppressed is that one who has gone to the schools of the oppressor, owned by the oppressors, made by the oppressors, taught by the oppressors, and yet have no ideas of their own. The oppressed is that one who has got the mindset of the oppressor and can also handle like an oppressor, even though he or she is an oppressed. 3 things or 4 things, let's say 4 things, the oppressed must have to do to be liberated. The first thing, the oppressed, we can call a black person, it could be a black person, but the very first thing, the black woman, the black boy, the black girl, the black man must have to learn in order to overcome every forms of racism, every forms of oppression, must be to learn their story, to learn their history. Would you imagine that I never knew about my own history until I came to Germany? But you know, I was taught the world history in my own country, Cameroon. My question is, what was that world history going to do in my identity? How was it going to help me develop to be a woman that can be able to impact in the community and develop our continent as we desire to have a beautiful continent? So the first thing for me was to relearn my history. So I'm talking to all those listening to me. Go back to your history. Never forget the history, the story, the conference that took part in Berlin. Never forget that conference, because if you forget that conference, then you forget the time colonialism began, and the day colonialism started, slavery began, and that was the time that the history gave another story, and the oppressed became really oppressed. So important is to know your history. When you know your history, you will learn from your history the tactic, the rule, the style, the strategy of the oppressor. And when you understand the strategy of the oppressor, you can also now better work your own strategies to be able to overcome whatever thing. Second point will be to unlearn that which the oppressor taught you and taught me, and to be ready to learn, self-learning, learning new skills by yourself, by myself, so as to be able to better also approach the oppressor. I want you to understand, the schools the oppressor created was never for your interest, was never for my interest. Have you ever asked yourself this question? All our brothers and sisters who are having PhD and having masters of this and having business administration, and yet are unable to create businesses. Have you ever asked why? Oh no, the role and the assignment of the oppressor was never that we should be able to create those things. It was that we should do according to their own thinking, behave like they wanted us to behave, eat like they wanted us to eat, sleep like they wanted us to sleep, dress like they want us to dress. And therefore, we must be ready to unlearn their education, unlearn what we have learned from them, and relearn new things so that we can be able to overcome all forms of oppressions. Another important thing will be the mindset. If you are ready to unlearn, then work on your mindset. A mindset of an abundance, a mindset of illimitation, that we can attain and achieve all things because we are well able, well body built, we are beautiful, we are intellectuals. And don't forget, civilization started in Africa. But how would you know if you do not even understand your history? So all what we are seeing here in the oppressors space and none came again from Africa. And a very third and important point will be the financial independence. If we attain financial independence, create our businesses, buy from us, eat that which we produce, go to the market created by ourselves, then we will paralyze the oppressor. It is so painful to see what is happening, but Mandela said it. The oppressor is not just the white man. And if it was just the white man, even our people, some of the leaders we are having, will not do the way they are doing. It's unfortunate what is happening in the world today. But Will Smith said it very well. It's nothing new. Now it's only been filmed. I really want to encourage you today. Do not give up. You still have the potentials in you to do that which you must do, so that you don't fall into the victim or be a victim of the oppressor. God bless you. God help you. Thank you.